Hello and welcome to her work-life wellness sessions. I'm so excited for you to be here. I honestly feel like it's been forever since I recorded, but it's literally been last week when I last recorded, and I just feel so different because I've been going through a lot with my own health. Like a couple weeks ago, I had to go to the emergency room because I was dealing with migraines and I was dealing with so much pain in my brain health, and I just was going through a lot, okay? Just know, like, I was going through a lot, and I recently started a new medication, and I feel like it's kind of been making me really kind of tired a little bit. So I'm kind of getting used to that and getting used to ways to lift my energy and to still stay at a really high vibe and high energy level. So just bear with me. I'm still getting used to it. And if you've ever started a new medication, you know how there's kind of like an adjustment period. So I'm doing my best to stay in high spirits and to get used to this feeling, but it does feel great. I feel much better and I have a lot less headaches and migraines. So I really feel amazing, and I'm so excited to just jump into today's episode because this episode is going to be so helpful for you if you feel like you've been stuck in autopilot and you feel just very low energy, uninspired by the work you're doing, and you just feel like you need more of that spark and more creativity in your everyday work. I think that a lot of us can definitely use that when we're just kind of doing very mundane work and we're not really inspired or very energized by what we're doing in our work. And that can really pour into our own personal life and just make us feel like we're boring or we're not very interesting as people. But honestly, that's got to be very far from the truth because we all have our own individual lives and our own personalities that bring just a new spark into the world. So we should never feel like we're uninspiring, we're just not interesting, because there's always something in yourself that just brings joy, brings energy into every single space that you walk into. So I want you to feel energized when you're listening to this message and to know that if you're uninspired or you just feel like you're lacking the energy, the motivation, and the inspiration that you need to continue on in your life and to continue building a career you love and to build a life that you love, then this is the episode for you. So stay tuned. I'm so excited to be on this journey with you because we all are just trying to find that joy, that play, and the pleasure in our life so that we can enjoy what we do and not just be a slave in this world, and just stuck in that system of work, life, slavery almost, where it's like we're spending so much time in our work but not enjoying our life. So let's get on into it. I always like to start with an energy check-in. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say I'm feeling about a 5 today, just because I feel a little bit meh today because I have been trying to lift myself up, and for some reason it's just felt like it's taken a lot more effort and a lot more, just more of a push to just get out the door, to feel good, and to just get things up and going. So if that's you, I definitely am in your corners today. So just know that you're not alone, and to know that you can always do your best to push yourself, but it's okay to embrace where you are. So for yourself, drop in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10. How's your energy levels going? On a scale of 1, like you really just feel completely burnt out and drained. And 10, you're feeling energized, excited, and just ready to continue going on about your life and on and about your wellness journey, and you're just having fun with it. So I also want us to take a moment to just take a deep breath in and just do a nice and relaxing energy exercise. So we're going to do a breathing exercise. So take 4 seconds of an inhale in, exhale, inhale, exhale, and inhale, exhale. And I like to do this just so that we can ground ourselves and to just get comfortable in our space and to be ready to receive our message, let go of any thoughts that are lingering, any negative thoughts, positive thoughts. It can be just anything that's not allowing us to stay in this present moment. So hopefully this has loosened you up and has you ready to receive this message, okay? So let's also get into the wins from this past week, because we had a great week last week. I don't care what happened last week. Last week was amazing. It's great to just pick out one win from last week that really just made you feel energized and excited. I would say for me, I had such a big win last week because I was having some trouble with my remote job and I wasn't able to continue with it and to fully do my onboarding because it is a new role. And I really was having trouble finding who to reach out to and who could help me just continue to move forward because I wanted to start my job, right? But I was having some issues because they onboarded me to the wrong team, right? So I had to reach out, I had to do this whole thing. And I noticed that I usually give up in the moment when I'm having such a difficult time getting what I need or to make a huge change like that. It usually would take me like a couple weeks to even say anything about that. I would probably go about my life, do something else, do my other contract remote roles that I have available. But I ended up really locking in because this role I was really excited about. And while I do keep other options, like I was like, no, this is what I want. I'm going to lock in and I'm going to really make sure that they put me on the right team so I can get started working right away. And I was able to, I did have to reach out and wait a couple days for someone to get back to me, but eventually I found the right people who were quick with it and they were able to get me back on track to what I needed to do. So I was really happy that I did that because I was being proactive and I'm finally able to be successfully onboarded. So I'm excited to do that, and I just feel just happy that I did that because it honestly could have taken weeks to even be successfully onboarded on that team. But I knew that I just needed to say what I needed to say because I wasn't going to just sit on the sidelines and do that. So with that being said, I'm just in a great place mentally and I'm excited to push forward with this and to just take on this role. It's a really exciting role and I don't take it for granted like any contract role that I get because honestly, I'm just excited to be where I'm at and I'm excited to just build on my career alongside my own businesses. So that was really successful last week and it put me in a great position this week to just have a consistent schedule that I can work, and I feel really happy about the work that I'm doing and really excited about the work that I'm doing because it's really just, it's exciting work. So honestly feel just very grateful for the work that I do. And yeah, so if you have a quick win that you got last week that was really simple or it was like a huge moment for you that really changed your life and changed the game for you, I want to know. So drop that down below and we can celebrate with you on that. I also like to spend some time thinking about where I was very out of alignment versus where I was in alignment this past week. And I really am starting to notice that I feel drained whenever I have anything in my life that's out of order. Like if I have a to-do list and I end up not doing a majority of it, it really starts to bother me. And I'm really starting to notice that that can really impact how I'm feeling for the rest of the day. So I know that this past Saturday and Sunday kind of threw me off schedule because I was visiting family this past Saturday and it kind of just made me fall a little bit behind, which is okay. I like to kind of sacrifice times every now and then for family and loved ones because at the end of the day, loved ones come before work for me, especially if it's during the time that I'm not even working my traditional job and it's maybe a side thing that I could push off. I don't mind doing that because honestly, we don't know how long we're going to be on earth for. We don't know how long our loved ones are going to be on earth for. So you just have to enjoy your time with them. So while I am happy I got to spend time with family and I got to enjoy my weekend in that kind of way, I am noticing that I felt very drained because I started to feel really behind. I started to really feel like, dang, like because I didn't spend this weekend making content and making my outlines and preparing for the week ahead, now I have to play catch up. And I know the risks. I already know the risks when it comes to just not doing what I need to do for the day. It kind of just adds on more weight and more stress for the next day. And that really drained me. And to this day, I'm kind of dealing with the delays and all of that. But honestly, it was worth it. And I try to understand that, things like this happen and life is just a roller coaster where you're not really in control of what's happening. You kind of just have to go along the ride and just enjoy what comes and be willing to be flexible because you never know what's going to come up, or maybe, someone might be available to spend time with that you really don't really have time to spend with them, or they're always so busy. So you never really know in those kind of situations. You just have to be a little bit flexible. And so yeah, that really drained me, kind of being behind on that. But again, it was worth it, and it's always going to be worth it. Being, spending time with family is always going to be worth it. And then something that really aligned with me this week was it seems simple, but I was able to find a facial, I don't know what you call it, like somewhere where you go to get a facial, and basically like a spa where they do facials. And I honestly thought that facials were like kind of something that would break the bank, or something that you would have to make sure that you have a huge down payment for or whatever. Like, I know nothing about facials, okay? So I'm like just now getting into it, and I've been seeing like content about people having positive experiences getting facials. And it's something that I realized that it kind of depends where you go. And I was able to find a location that does the treatments that I'm looking for. And I'm looking to do some dermaplaning and getting rid of peach fuzz, and also getting rid of texture in my skin, and also working on like my hydration. So I was able to find a place that really has some really good deals where like I can get a facial every month, or even like every other month would be great. And I really feel excited about that because I was really trying to find somewhere to go before my wedding. So I was really excited to see that, and I feel so in alignment with it. Like, I love the branding of the place that I checked out. The pricing is right, and it has everything I need. So I'm excited. I'm really trying to spend more time and invest more into my self-care and into just more wellness activities that I can do outside of my house that are enriching to my body and my skin, and just everything, just make me feel good on the inside out. So that was something that really just aligned with me and that I feel really excited about. So let me know what was something that drained you this past week, and also something that aligned with you this past week. Because I always like to do those kind of check-ins to understand where we're going and what things we don't like versus things we do like, so that we can attract more of what we want. Because if you're going about life and you don't know what you like versus what you don't like, you're kind of just going to attract whatever, and things are just kind of going to be thrown at you, and you're just going to be reacting rather than making conscious decisions for yourself. So let me know what you were drained by this past week and what was in alignment for you this past week. Drop that down in the comments below, and I'm happy to talk more about it and to just hear what's going on with you. So now let's jump into today's topic. Today's topic is how to stop living on autopilot and start enjoying your life again. So we tend to get into cycles when it comes to work, and it can be easy to just kind of show up, go to work, and to not really enjoy what you're doing. It's simple, right? A lot of us have jobs that we don't enjoy, and we kind of get sucked into what that job has planned for us rather than creating a path and a vibe that works for us. So it's so important to set the tone for your own life and to break away from your job in a way where you go home and you enjoy your life. You have loved ones around you that you enjoy, you have activities that you enjoy, and you have self-care habits that you really enjoy about just yourself and the things that you do to feel good. You take care of yourself, your wellness, all the things, right? So let's jump into that, because if you're somebody who struggled like me, like when I was just thinking about earlier how I was literally 19 years old, 20 years old, working at a career counselor center. So it was like career counseling and also mental health counseling in one place. Kind of like if you were in high school or you're in college and you want to get help with your classes, you want to get help with your mental health or whatever the case, you just want to talk to somebody who can help you in your mindset, in your career, your life goals, right? And I was somebody who sat at the desk. I helped book appointments and I helped people kind of get on track to what they want out of their classes. And also, if they are struggling with their mental health, I can help them with their intake forms and have them fill out the intake form, and then they can meet with a counselor. So when I was there, I noticed that everybody would kind of be on TikTok all the time. And I found myself going through that. I'm like, oh, like they're saying like there's all this exciting stuff happening on TikTok. Let me jump on that. Let me just get into that and just kind of just like kind of separate myself from what's going on right in front of me, right? So I kind of fell into that culture of kind of just working the job, showing up to work, basically watching TikTok most of the time, and then going home and just watching more TikTok, right? But I noticed that when I was there, I wasn't really enjoying myself. I kind of just worked there. Obviously, when you're 19, 20, most of us aren't working jobs that we enjoy. And I noticed that I would just go home drained and I would just be watching content all day. So I kind of fell into that culture of just overconsumption, always checking to see what somebody else is doing. But then even when I went home, I didn't enjoy it. And when I was at work, it was even worse, because when I did try to interact, well, I obviously was interacting with people all day, but whenever I had a bad interaction, I wasn't able to really handle it, and I wasn't able to really know myself in a way where I felt comfortable standing up for myself. I didn't feel comfortable advocating for myself, and I just would fall apart every time something bad would happen, because I wasn't really working on my skills when I was at work. I wasn't really pouring into myself or like just absorbing the nature of the job and what it would actually take to be successful in that role. So I remember somebody called and they were just really angry at me because they weren't able to get the classes they wanted. And like, that was not my responsibility to sign them up for classes if it was past the deadline. And I told them that, no, we can't sign you up for this class. Sorry about that. And then they just straight up cursed me out. And I was like, what? Like, I just completely broke down. I'm like, oh my God, like, I just don't know how to handle this. And it's like, I just felt so horrible, because I'm like, I did everything I could, but also like, did I do everything I could? I just know that when I wasn't working, like I was on my phone, I was chilling, and I was just minding my business. And I noticed that I wasn't able to really separate myself from the job, because I didn't have any self-care rituals. I didn't have any kind of personal relationship with myself, because when I did have free time, I wasn't journaling, I wasn't checking in with myself, I wasn't just in tune with my own energy. I was just going online and absorbing somebody else's energy, learning about trends, and just feeding myself random information that just didn't matter. So like when something unexpected happened like that, or when somebody challenged me or just made me feel uncomfortable, I just felt like I was like overly soft. I wasn't really ready and prepared to take on the world. And that is why the information that I'm sharing with you today is going to help you, because life is all about pouring into yourself so that you can pour into others. Because when you're not pouring into yourself and you're not giving yourself the care, the time, and just the patience that you need, people are going to walk all over you. They're going to mishandle you. They're going to talk to you the way they want to talk to you, and you're going to take it. And you're just going to be just a rag doll, just being tossed all over by whoever wants to walk all over you and to treat you however they want to treat you, right? Not how you want to be treated. So you don't want that. And part of the reason that could happen, like part of the reason why you might get walked all over at work, or maybe your customers don't respect you and people are walking all over you, it's because you don't have the culture at work and at home that you need to succeed. And when you're at work and you aren't actually growing and you're basically just showing up and you're not actually knowing what's going on around you and you're not taking that ownership, right? You're kind of just falling into a pattern of negativity, whether you know it or not, because you are going with the norms. You're not really knowing what's going on because you're just doing whatever you're told to do. You're doing what everybody else is doing, but you don't have a pattern. You don't have a routine that is working for you. So what you need to do is to realize like, hey, like in these moments where I'm on my phone, I'm scrolling, I'm not really paying attention to what's going on. Maybe I need to know like what are the updates going on at work? What is all the protocols that's going on? And what are the rules? Like how are customers supposed to treat me as an employee? And how can I get the best out of this situation when I'm just getting the short end of the stick? Because I know there's some rules. I know there's some protocols that need to be followed because how this person is treating me is just not right. And I know that I deserve better. And I know what the rules are. I know what I'm supposed to be doing at work. And I know what the updates are. So I am showing up every day. I know what's going on. And people can't tell me anything. They can't tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about because I show up to work and I'm clocked in, I'm present, and I know what's going on. And I'm always 10 steps ahead. So a customer, another employee, a colleague cannot tell me anything about myself that I don't already know. And you're not gonna call me outside of my name because I know what's going on. Like when I come to work, I show up, I make sure to reflect, I journal, and I know exactly what's going on. I have my to-do list. I did everything I need to do today at work. And if you didn't do your part, that's on you, but I can't save you. I can't save you from not doing your part. So it's all about just knowing that some people, like, they will take advantage of you if they know that you're young, you're naive, you don't know what's going on. So they're going to tell you like, oh, I'm going to get you fired. I'm going to come up to that school and I'm going to get you fired because you're not supposed to be doing that. But oh, like if you show up and you know what you're supposed to be doing, like nobody could tell you anything about yourself because you know exactly how the business runs, you know the policies, you know everything that's going on. So what I want you to know is that as long as you are showing up to work, you are present, and you're knowing your value as an employee and as somebody who is showing up every day and helping their customers or whoever you're serving, you know that you are your best self, you're confident, and nobody could tell you anything because you show up and you read the manuals. You show up and you are knowledgeable, you know what's going on, and you're not distracted by what's going on around you that doesn't matter. Because whatever's going on outside of there, you can always get that information when you're not at work, but when you're at work, you're clocked in and you're focused. And when people get that energy from you, like, oh, she's tuned in, she knows what she's doing, I can't play with her, then they know how to treat you. They know that you're constantly improving, you're a high value employee, you're a high value woman, and they're not going to treat you any kind of way because, like, listen, like you did the work, you are educated, And you don't deserve that kind of treatment. So however they're coming, they need to be able to respect you. And if you know the rules and you know who to reach out to if they give you a problem, then there's nothing to worry about. And it's all about just breaking away from that complacent culture of like, oh, like, well, like, that's just how people treat employees. That's just how people show up. And, this kind of stuff just happens. I'm just going to go sit down and just go back on my phone. But no, like, it's all about respect at the end of the day. So you need to make sure that when you're at work and you're dealing with customers, you're dealing with other employees, your boss, that they know, like, this is how you treat yourself. And sometimes you just have to go against the grain. Sometimes you have to just set a new culture because people get too comfortable showing up to work and not respecting people. Like, the customers aren't respecting the employees, other employees are not respecting their colleagues. But when you know what you're doing and you're not just floating by in life, you're going to be able to, like, even if the job doesn't give you that kind of culture, you'll be able to create your own culture. And you will know the manual, even if that location that you work at doesn't support that and they don't treat people with respect, you know the corporate manual on like the back of your hand, and you know just how you want to be treated. Sometimes you have to create your own culture, even if the manual or the policies don't support you. Maybe that's taking it to the higher level and just knowing legal information, like how can I protect myself as an employee, as a contractor, or whoever I am. Because in this situation, you're able to get the respect you want and to be able to show up to work and to enjoy your life and to know that you'll be okay, because sometimes you show up to work and you're anxious, or you're nervous because you think someone's going to disrespect you or it's just not going to be a great time. But it's all about balance. I'm not saying you can't be on your phone or you can't just be kind of thoughts in the air or just kind of just like aloof. But for the majority of your time at work, it's important to just lock in and to be aware of what's going on around you. So with that, you just need to make sure that you are focused and that you're in tune with what's going on around you, because you just never know what's going to be thrown at you, and you just need to know how to handle things in the fly in that moment. So, but obviously outside of work, you need to be able to have hobbies that you enjoy. Like, for example, I love to crochet. When I'm at home, while I don't get the time to crochet, I really enjoy design, I enjoy beauty, I enjoy just making my space look nice. So I love looking on Pinterest and putting together Pinterest boards of how I'm going to design my dream home, or just creating a vision that I can one day act upon once I get everything together, and just creating that imagination of what things could be. Because instead of just sitting where I'm at and just thinking like, well, this is it, there's nothing really else that can go on in my life, and this is just how it's going to be from moving on from now on. Like, no, like, that's not how I want to live my life. I want to do activities that just make me excited, whether that's working out and just knowing that I'm working on my health and I'm not leaving my health up to chance on like, well, maybe one day I'm just not going to be able to move my legs anymore. That's just life. But no, like, if you're walking most days of the week and you're getting your exercise in, you're doing your hobbies, you are going to feel excited about the future. And it's so important to know that you have activities at home waiting for you when you get home from work, because work is not everything. Like I was saying earlier, it's important to be able to have the family, the supports, and the people in your life that you mostly want to spend your time with. And not just that, like, if you don't have a great circle of people or you don't have people around you that you love spending your time with, then it's important to have hobbies. And one thing I realize is that having hobbies and just doing things outside of work doesn't mean that you have to recruit people into your life or bring them into your home. It's not about that at all. Sometimes it's just about just showing up and being in places that you want to be seen in. Because when people see you in different places and when people see you doing what you enjoy, they're going to assume that you're that kind of person who consistently shows up and does that thing. When you're in a space and people see you just having fun and enjoying yourself, people are going to associate you as that kind of person that does that kind of thing. So it's important that you show up in those spaces because you're going to socialize yourself into those spaces and you're going to attract people, obviously, that do those kind of things because nobody's going to do something they don't want to do unless they got dragged to do that thing. But obviously, they're not going to be there every week. They're not going to be there every day. And you won't be able to see them that often because that's not what they do. So it's important to do hobbies that you enjoy because it's going to bring you around people that are more like you and that you will enjoy being around. And you don't necessarily have to recruit every single person into your life, but it's about just creating community and creating third spaces outside of your work or outside of your house. And it doesn't have to be 3 spaces. That's just a term that I use because a third space is somewhere that isn't work or it isn't your house. It's just somewhere you go just to be, to live, and to just practice your autonomy and to just be a human. Because we, for some reason in life, we just can't be human because we're working, we're just at home, and we're not even living the life that we want. So it's important that we're going out and that we're enjoying life because nobody's going to enjoy life for you. You have to go find what you like. And if you don't like anything or you just feel like you don't know where to start, then you have to just go out there, maybe do some research, go on Eventbrite and find different activities that you can do because it's important to have that balance. It's important to know yourself because that goes hand in hand with building culture, not only at work but also at home. Because how many of us even have culture when it comes to being at home? When you're at home, is your culture just sitting down, being on your phone and scrolling on TikTok or just watching TV all the time? Is that really a culture that you enjoy or that brings you life and that makes you feel like you're really living life to the fullest? Because if that doesn't feel right to you and you feel like something's a little off, then maybe you need to just find different activities that you enjoy, and maybe it's time to find some joy outside of your house and to stop sheltering yourself at home and at work, because we can also shelter ourselves at work and we can often hide ourselves from the world because we're tired and we just don't want to deal with people. We don't want to socialize ourselves and to find community because we just enjoy being alone. And I hate to break it to you if you like being alone, but humans are actually social creatures and we need other people to feel like we're living life and like we're a part of a community. It's important to have that community, and it's important to go outside and to socialize yourself, to find activities. Because when you're not talking to people, you're kind of just in your own vacuum. And that's not a good place to be because we all know how we can be, when we're just sitting and thinking. It's not necessarily the best place to be, okay? So you need to be able to find that balance, to be able to find different activities that you can do. And let's get into it. Tennis, painting, hopscotch. Yes, like adults play hopscotch. I don't know. Doing your hair, going to the symphony. There's a lot of different things you could do here. Like, it doesn't have to be workouts. It could be, like, if you have kids, you know what hopscotch is. I don't have kids, but that's something you could do. That's fun. And you can just go outside, do something fun, do something silly. It doesn't have to be overly serious. It doesn't have to fit an aesthetic. It could be something random, completely random here. We're not talking about TikTok or going on TikTok and seeing what other people are doing. We're genuinely trying to see what do we like to do in life? Because honestly, like, if you're not having fun, if you're not being playful with your life, then what are you really doing? And we need to really talk about that. Like, are we doing activities that we enjoy, or is it something based off of what other people are saying we should do, or something we think that we should be doing? So let's really get into that. Let's really think, like, is this something we want to do? And obviously, you can be at home. That's also super important, to know yourself and to build your self-confidence up with yourself, because I firmly believe that's where it starts, but that's not where confidence ends. I think confidence is something that we have to push ourselves to do, and it takes a lot of discomfort to feel confident, but it also takes a lot of effort. It takes consistently to show up for ourselves, but it's all about just spending time with yourself first. Obviously, you need to create those rituals. Every single day shouldn't look the same, but you should have some anchoring habits to just keep yourself in alignment with the person you want to be. For example, for me, I would say taking walks is something that I really enjoy. So my anchoring habit Monday through Friday is always taking a walk. At least an hour walk is something I like to do, because I find that that's just what makes me feel the most energetic and the most lively when I'm walking and getting some air. Even if, like, I'm taking some vitamin D pills right now, but obviously I don't have to sit in the sun to get that energy, but it's so important to clear your mind and to really just fill yourself up with fresh air, because we can be really cooped up in the office or cooped up in our houses when we're not going outside. And it's important to get some fresh air, because all of that inside air is super congested. You know, it can get really congested at a certain point, because it's just, like, honestly, I truly believe we emit energy, and when we're not releasing negative emotions, fears, and just releasing that energy and just allowing it to cycle with the air from outside, then we're just inhaling everything that we've been inhaling for the past couple months. So it's important to just go out and walk intentionally. Yes, you can go outside, obviously, by going and walking to your car, or maybe walking your dog if you have a dog. But, like, are you genuinely spending time with yourself? Yes, you can take a walk with your dog, but is it something that isn't just like walking them around the block and just getting back in the house? Like, is it a nature walk? Is it something that's allowing you to spend time in nature and to do something that you don't necessarily have to do? That's important, to just create some rituals that you don't necessarily have to do, but you want to do it because it just makes you feel good. It makes you feel like yourself. Like, I want you to, and while I do have an activity later, like, honestly, like, write down, like, what makes you you. What rituals and what routines are non-negotiables that just make you you. Because we all have those things where if we're not doing it, then it just makes us not feel like we're ourselves. We don't feel like ourselves when we don't do certain things. So it's important to really set the tone by doing rituals like going for a walk, doing your skincare, and really just setting yourself up for success by just doing what makes you feel good. And that also flows into your environment, creating an environment that is enjoyable, peaceful, fun, lively. That's setting the tone with lighting. During the day, maybe you don't want all the lights, all the overhead lights on. You want it to be calm. You want to light some candles, meditate. You're just kind of just filling your energy with things that make you feel good. Maybe you just like fresh flowers. So every week you want to go and get a bouquet to put on your dining table, and just set the tone by just romanticizing life and getting yourself different items that you just enjoy and that just bring life into your space. And it doesn't have to be flowers. It can be dried plants, or it can be lighting, obviously candles, smell goods, room sprays, and just making sure your space is clean is so important, because when we're going home and we're unwinding from work, the last thing you want is just a messy space. You don't want to feel like, man, and like you're just not really living life. You're just kind of living on autopilot. You're just kind of throwing everything everywhere. But the magic is really in doing different activities and treating yourself to experiences that are just wants, pure wants, and just so luxurious and relaxing. So if that's something that you've been slacking on, I highly recommend that. And all of these different aspects of setting the tone for your life and just creating these different checks and balances is so important. So all that being said, wrapping it up, it is culture, creating the culture at your work and at home, creating different hobbies for yourself, doing different hobbies for yourself, but just finding activities that you find that's fun and that brings you energy and joy, and that just allows you to be more playful. Having rituals for yourself, and also creating an environment that you enjoy. Because when you enjoy your space, you're going to feel different, you're going to feel good. And overall, just putting these different items in place is going to really make a difference for you, so that you can stop living life on autopilot, and that you can start enjoying life again. Because you don't deserve to just be handed just a random life. Like, we're all made to create, and it's not just about painting, singing, and just the basic talents, but it's like we're all here to create a life that we enjoy. And it's not always easy, but in every single detail that we pay attention to, it's going to allow us to actively and intentionally create a life that we enjoy. So hopefully these tips really helped you. I do want to put some of these tips at practice, like I always do. So what we're gonna do is to create a life romanticizing map. What I want you to do is to create 4 different circles, like so. And in each circle, I want you to highlight these different areas, which include the environment, creativity, social, and self-care. So, for example, under environment, you might say you want to, and for each one, I want you to put 2 different aspects that you want to work on for each. So under environment, you can put you want to set the tone with lighting, you want to create more flowers, maybe you want to grow some flowers and like put some fresh flowers, or you want to go to the supermarket and get some fresh flowers every day. And then for self-care, you can include skincare. Like maybe you usually just wake up, you splash your face with water, and you just put on some moisturizer. But you want to really invest into your self-care. You want to do face masks. You want to have a routine where you do a face mask over the weekend, and during the weekdays, Monday through Friday, you properly wash your face with some good, luxurious face care, like for example, like a face wash, and then you do some toner, moisturizer, and just something a little bit more luxurious, because you want your life to feel just luxurious, fun, and just so indulgent like that. You can have a lot of fun finding products that you enjoy and going out and just seeing what works for you, and maybe starting out with like smaller items that you can try to start, and then just kind of implementing some luxurious skincare items into your routine. And then my favorite, going for a morning walk. Like maybe you want to spend 30 minutes to start with your walk. And then getting into creativity, that can be, for example, I love crocheting, so I can include crocheting, I can include cooking for creativity, because cooking is creative. Like there's like endless recipes that you can make. Like there's so many ways you can cook soup. Like you can literally cook chicken soup in like a bajillion ways, so you can really have fun with it and just see what you enjoy. Like you can put some brown rice in your chicken soup, or maybe quinoa, or like crackers and like different things. Or like I've even heard of chicken and dumplings. Like that's something that people do in the South that people enjoy doing. So that's just a fun way to incorporate cooking. So what are your two items that you want to do for creativity? And then lastly, there's social. So you can do dinner with friends and also some wellness classes. The other day I did jump Pilates. So jump Pilates is something that it's really fun. Like it has a lot of cardio, and it really made me feel like, wow, like I would do this just for fun. Like it was so fun. Like it didn't even really feel like a workout. So in doing that, like I got to talk to the instructor, got to learn about different Pilates workout classes that worked for me. They recommended that I try reformer Pilates, for example. Then I got to kind of chat a little bit with some other women who were also taking the class. And it was just fun. It was a nice vibe, wellness vibe, and just being around other women who value their wellness was really just amazing and so fun to be able to chat and to like kind of be in the space and to share a space with other women who care about their wellness. And so for you, I want you to highlight these four aspects. So your environment, self-care, and creativity, and also social. So those four things. And then write down two different items that you can work on under each aspect. And then I want you to ask yourself, what are three rituals that you want to do this week? What are out of these all these different kinds of rituals or items that are under each category: environment, self-care, creativity, and social? What can you do this week? Like choose three things like under the variety of categories and choose what do you want to do this week, because it's time to lock in. It's time to be intentional with your life and to create a routine and to create some patterns that are going to benefit you and that are going to energize you, because it's time to just lock in. It's time to feel excited about life again. Even if we're tired, like trust me, I know work can get really tiring and it can get really redundant real quick. But if you just lock in and you just try to enjoy the process, then this is really going to help you just find that joy, find that flow again. And I just want you to take a moment to think about why these different areas matter to you. How is it going to make your life better? And what does your life look like when you actually add these three rituals into your life? Because if you live life at a rate at where you're going now and you're not necessarily excited about it, then you're kind of going to fall into a trap that you're not really happy with. And that's not at all where we want you to be. And my goal is to help you enjoy your wellness journey. It's so important to just enjoy the process of balancing work and life and to find your own individual pieces that fit within your puzzle piece, because life is not a one size fit all. It's so complex. There's just so many different personalities, so many different ways that we can enjoy life and to celebrate life and to spend our time. So if we just find activities and different rituals that work for us, then that is a huge accomplishment. And what I want you to do is, if you end up finding those three rituals that work out for you, that could be something that you can bring up next week that align with you. Like that could be something you could bring and that you can really see, like, are these different rituals aligning with me? What do I need to change? What's not working? So I always want you to, like, don't just throw something into your schedule and just start doing it because you think you have to be productive. That is not at all my goal. Like, I don't think that there's a one size fits all when it comes to productivity or any of that. Like, I'm not a productivity guru. I am a wellness strategist, and I'm all about testing and seeing what works. So it's never an end all be all if something doesn't work out. You just have to keep trying something new, let go of what doesn't work for you, and just keep adding and trying something new until you find what sticks and what makes you happy. So at the end of the day, if you're not happy with where you are, you're not happy with your wellness routine, that's a problem. And we need to work on that. We need to figure out what we can change and how we can move around and find something that you do enjoy, because your journey should be enjoyable, and it's not always going to be easy, but it should be enjoyable and very rewarding, because if you're doing something you love and you're making progress in that and you're seeing results, then that's a win. That's amazing, and it can really make your life so much better than where you are now. And so, with that being said, if you're needing more support and you would like to be around other like minded women, I would highly suggest you join the Elevated Energy Reset. It's a great program for women who want to feel more energized, want more confidence, and love to try new products and like to add new items to their ritual. And it's a lot of good products that you can try. There's like some energy fizz products, like a fizzy, kind of like healthy replacement for caffeine, but it has like different fruit flavors that you can try that boost your energy and give you natural caffeine without the burnout or without the coffee crash. And there's also some protein powders and a variety of other different wellness supplements that you can try and implement into your routine. So there's a lot of different tools and strategies that you can use. And it's all about just finding what works for you. You can look into it down below. You can learn more about the Elevated Energy Reset that comes with the products, obviously, but the most important part is the community, being around other women who are on the same journey as you, who also love clean wellness products, and you also get to answer daily prompts. I love to just get us thinking and to constantly allow us to reflect and to think about what's working for us and to ask ourselves questions so that we can get to know ourselves better. So if you're somebody who is looking for a little bit of a challenge and are ready to take the next step in your wellness journey, then the Elevated Energy Reset is definitely for you. So check it out to learn more about that, and I'm excited to see you in the program. I also wanted to just send you on your way by just sharing some words of affirmation, because I know sometimes I find myself struggling and I find myself just kind of in a state of just not knowing what to do next. I'm overwhelmed by work, and I want you to know that in just showing up for yourself today and just doing your best is all you can do today. If that's all you can do, then I would say do it and show up for yourself, because when you show up for yourself, you're showing that you care about yourself, you're taking yourself serious, and that you support yourself, because nobody's going to do the work for you. You have to show up and do the work each and every day. And when you're showing up to work, you're showing up for yourself and you're progressing with your career, you are showing that you trust yourself and you understand that there's still more growth to be made. So keep going with that, because you got this, I got this, and we got this. So keep going. I'm so excited for you. And it's all about just feeling positive with what you're doing and just feeling excited about it. So if you're somebody who just needs that support, understand that I am here for you, and I understand what it's like to struggle. It's so important to just have a strategy on your journey. It's not about just being perfect in the gym. It's not about always eating healthy. It's about just finding a wellness strategy that works with you, not against you. So if you're somebody who is ready for just the next level, I don't only have a program, but I also have one-on-one coaching. I would love to have you there. And I am excited to just walk alongside you or if you just happen to just love the videos, make sure that you subscribe. I will be posting this also on Spotify if you're listening on Spotify at a later date. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much for watching here on YouTube. And I'm just so excited for this journey. I'm so excited for us because there's so much that is coming and that's available to us. And if we just keep moving forward, it's going to be uncovered. And I'm so excited to see where we go next. And I hope that this helps you kind of break out of the cycle that you're in and to stop living on autopilot and to start enjoying your life. Start being an active participant in your life and to start seeing what works for you and just break away from social media. Like, who cares what they're saying? Do what works for you. Enjoy the process. And I'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.